This is the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week pregame show.
No one takes a break tonight. We get after them for 4 quarters. You take what you want. It's your time. Go get it done, baby. Come on.
Week 3 of the high school football season has arrived. Tonight, we're heading to Mollenkopf Stadium as Warren-JFK plays host to Garfield in the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week. I'm Chad Krispinski alongside Ryan Allison. This one has the feeling of a postseason battle, and it's just week 3.
No doubts. These are two of the top programs in their respective divisions. The G-Men have been a powerhouse in Division 5, while the Eagles finished last year as the state runner-up in D7. Should be a great game here tonight.
Yes, it should. Let's take a look at tonight's matchup notes. These two teams are meeting for the 3rd straight year in the regular season. Yeah,
Garfield has won each of the last head-to-head meetings. That includes last September when the G-Men knocked off the Eagles 27-21.
Let's take you back in history to 2019. JFK hosting Garfield at Mollenkopf Stadium. Eagles on the attack. It is Michael Morrow back to pass. He lobs it up, looking end zone. Gabe Green gets under it and fights his way in for the touchdown. 24-yard pitch and catch. Eagles take the lead, but just before the half, G-Men driving. Brody Swingoski slings it out to Anthony DEMMA, who breaks a tackle and weaves his way into the end zone from 15 yards out. Garfield scored 21 unanswered. Garfield rolled 42-28 back in 2019. Garfield faced off with another Valley team last week, playing host to Lakeview.
Yeah, the G-Men rolled past the Bulldogs 47-6. and piled up more than 300 yards rushing as a team. It was also the 2nd straight week that they finished with more than 300 yards on the ground.
Let's take a closer look at Garfield. The G-Men have roared out of the gates, entering week 3 unbeaten at 2-0.
Garfield has been really good also playing away from home. They're seeking a 12th consecutive road victory here in week 3. Last fall, they tied a school record, posting a mark of 9-1. So Kennedy will have their hands full tonight.
Leading the way for Garfield is senior running back Anthony DEMMA. We'll hear his name a lot here in week 3. Here he is against Crestview last fall. His coaches say he's a well-rounded player that can do absolutely everything well.
DEMMA plays both ways and never takes a play off. They say he's everything you want in a team leader, and the numbers back up the talent.
And we're only entering week 3. He already has 8 touchdowns total to go along with his 313 yards on the ground. And get this, he's averaging over 17 yards per carry.
The kid is fast. He's very patient as a runner. Patient, and then he can go to that next gear as quick as anybody. He's physical because of his size. He's got the full package as a running back, and it's the last 2 years he's shown that.
Well, what separates him from a lot of backs is his patience. He likes to sit behind those blocks. So it's just going to come down to us beating those blocks and to separate from him and get after him.
When we come back, we'll turn our attention to Warren-JFK. The defending state runners-up have picked up right where they left off last season for the first 2 weeks this fall. You're watching the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week.
You're watching the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week pregame show.
And welcome back as the countdown to kickoff continues. Let's now turn our attention to Warren-JFK, a team that is no stranger to big games. Last fall, they rolled through the playoffs all the way to the state championship game.
It was an unbelievable season. They finished state runner-up, and that provided plenty of motivation this fall. Head coach Don Prologo says the Eagles don't rebuild, they reload, and they haven't forgotten about that 31-point loss in the state championship game. He says they've done 31 10-yard sprints once a week for motivation.
Yes, they have. Kennedy appears to be just as dangerous this year with so many offensive weapons that opposing defenses have to deal with.
That's right. JFK rolled past Western Reserve last Saturday night, 44-28. They ran for over 300 yards on the ground and averaged more than 8 yards per carry. Mike Morrow, Chris Campana, Caleb Hadley all scored a pair of touchdowns.
Fresh off that win, the Eagles are 2-0. Don Prologo had some big shoes to fill when he was hired, but he has certainly carried on that winning tradition at Kennedy since taking over the program.
Yeah, he's now in his 2nd year at JFK, having led the Eagles to 11 wins in 14 games. And speaking of winning tradition, Since 2015, Kennedy has posted a mark of 55-23. That's a winning percentage more than 70%.
And the Eagles absolutely love to run the ball, and they have one of the best linemen in the entire Valley, paving the way for that loaded backfield.
That's right, Pat Vallant, one of many talented guys up front for JFK. He's 6'4", 280 pounds. Coach Prologo says Vallant brings a nastiness to the field, and he doesn't want to just block. He wants to finish defenders.
He's being recruited by some big-time college football programs, including Miami of Florida, Rice, Boston College, and Pitt. And he says he models his game after Indianapolis Colts stud lineman Quentin Nelson.
They got some real good, real good guys up front. They blow some holes open in some, some of those defensive fronts we've seen them in already. So impressive. Their schemes aren't, it's not a matter of, the schemes being that complicated. It's just whether or not you're going to be tough enough to stand in there with them and control the line of scrimmage.
Which brings us to our keys to the game. Garfield looking to match JFK's physicality. The G-men are looking to get off the ball. They say pad level will be key as they try to hold their own up front.
Kennedy, on the other hand, looking to own the trenches. They want to be as physical as they can in the run game. They're focused on finishing blocks on offense and getting off blocks on defense. And finally, both sides are looking to answer big plays. These are two teams that can score in bunches. The G-men, they're averaging 48 points per game, while the Eagles are posting 46 per contest.
So the spotlight is shining brightly on high school football's biggest stage. We're just about ready for the opening kickoff. Garfield and Warren JFK face off next on the WKBN High School Football Game of the Week.